Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talks. Hope everybody's having a great day. It is Sunday morning. I got a really great video planned out. It's based off of a comment that I had received yesterday from what appears to be a really new stacker. And like I've said in the past, as stuff gets worse and worse, we start to see different scenarios popping up in the news of this could play out, that could play out. Shtf scenarios could play out, or we start seeing inflation continuing to climb and really wreaking havoc on the average person's budget. Well, investing in precious metals not only protects you should an Shtf scenario happens, but it also flips things around a little bit when it comes to inflation. Having money invested in gold and silver make it to where inflation is kind of working on your behalf. It's putting more purchasing power in your hands. And some might say it's not really putting more in your hands, it's actually maintaining what you already have. However, when you have a system that is so rigged and manipulated, I could make an argument that it's actually giving you more purchasing power because it's being fairly manipulated down in price. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff today. We're going to be using some definitions that some people may or may not know. I know a lot of people that have been stacking for a while. Some of this might seem the norm. You've already been dealing with it. You understand it. But on the flip side, I still think you're going to get some useful information out of this video. So please do me a solid. Hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel and you've never seen the channel before, hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment if I didn't answer something and maybe you have a question. I do try to really focus on helping out people. It is my goal to help people get in a better position and be prepared for what could be coming down the line. So with that being said, let's take a look first at this comment and go through it. So premiums, question mark. What does that mean? Hey, what does at spot even mean? If you want to be of any use to the average person, you need to explain this stuff, not just talk jargon. Oh, spot price coming down? Huh? How? Why? So, I want to buy some silver. You did not explain the best to buy as the title suggested you would. At least not that we, in the room full of others watching, could really understand clearly. Stacks? Question mark. So, you know, most ordinary people are just trying to get some silver on their tiny little incomes in case money becomes worthless. So, when the probability SHTF scenario and stores won't take cash, they have some way to get the necessities. You help. Can you help with that info or not? Question mark. Okay, so let's jump right in. From reading that, you can tell right off there's some vague questions there in terms of that. A lot of us that have been stacking for a while probably already know the answer to, like, what is spot? So spot price, when someone says spot price, you're looking at the price of silver. First of all, any silver you can get your hands on. In that video, I did say any silver you can get your hands on as close to spot as possible is going to put you in a better position. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of different silver out there. Spot price is the actual price that silver is traded. If you download an app, I use the Kitco app. It looks just like this. I'm going to show you guys even on my phone, so that way everybody knows. Some people are going to know right off what the Kitco app is. This is the Kitco app. So, let's see here. Hopefully it ain't going to show nothing bad. Nah, I won't. Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't show anything private. So this is the Kitco app right there. Boom. It just says Gold Live, Kitco. You click on it, and it opens up this screen. This is modified. You can modify this app to track anything you want it to track. I have it tracking the stuff that is most important to me: gold, silver. I also have platinum, palladium, and rhodium Even though I don't invest in them, I get asked questions from close friends about that sometimes. Copper, nickel, and aluminum, those are important to me because I do a lot of scrapping. If I'm driving down the road and I find copper or whatever, so I do keep that. Here's the thing. Oil is extremely important to me because obviously the price of oil affects everything. Scrolling down, I have the major markets and then I have the major cryptos that I like. So, okay, so now you know what spot price is. This is spot price. Spot price is $24.43 as of right now. $24.43, $24.44 for gold. $28.56, $28.66, somewhere in between that range. One is actually a bid, which means people are willing to buy it for that. And the other one is people are willing to sell it for that. And then sometimes you might, okay, I'll pay the $28.66 or back and forth. Anything over the ask price is called premiums. The premium is the cost to make these coins that you're looking at in front of you, the cost to make these bars. Some of the stuff is fancy, some of it is basic. This is probably a more basic, well, actually, no, this would probably be really the most basic. This is just a basic 10-ounce bar of silver. This is a 1-ounce coin. The premium is anything over spot. So if spot price is $29 at the moment you're watching this, and someone's selling these rounds for $31, well, that means you're paying a $2 premium. It's the overage on it. And obviously, the closer to spot you can get, the better. If you're worried, there's two types of scenario that people buy gold and silver for. The first one being because you are nervous that there is going to be a SHTF scenario. That could be anything from the banks closing and you don't have no money, to a grid down scenario, the power grid went down, to a full collapse, EMP, solar flare, Carrington event, whatever you think could happen. Those are extreme circumstances. Now, yes, silver, I believe, is going to be a key item to barter because the truth of the matter is I have a lot of rice in my storage unit stacked away in 5-gallon buckets, more than I could ever probably eat. However, white rice is dirt cheap. At $16 a bag, if preserved properly, it will keep for 25 years. For me, for the current price of 3 ounces of silver, that's $100. I can put away roughly 200 pounds of rice for these 3 ounces of silver. Now, I always have people say, no one's going to want your silver when stuff collapses. I'll take your silver when stuff collapses. I'll even give you rice. Why? Because I have more than enough rice. If I've been stacking silver and gold for a while, obviously that means that I have put away something of security, a way to protect myself, meaning pew-pews and shells. And I've also put away food and water. Why? Because when stuff does collapse, you're going to need food and water as a priority. You're going to need a way to protect yourself, and then you're going to need some kind of means of exchange. Means of exchange does not have to be gold and silver. It could be alcohol, tobacco, shells, I'll say. Certain words I try to stay away from. That's why you hear me say pew-pew and shells instead of the other alternatives. So I don't say them because obviously the algorithm's funny. So you're going to want to have a little of everything. But we're talking about silver and gold today. I've done videos on all the other stuff, and I'll do them again at some point. So gold and silver. But it's not just an SHTF scenario that we buy this stuff for. I don't buy all this silver because I'm going to have to take it out in the street and barter it. However, if I was going to have to barter in the streets, then I can tell you some items that I would rather have. I would definitely rather have silver dimes because they're small, they're tangible, they're already broken up for me into smaller sizes. Maybe some silver quarters, but make sure you're getting silver. You can tell silver by looking at the side. You know it's pre-62. Pre-64. So 1964, 63, 62, all the way down. That was all 90% silver. We valued that as money. Moving on, you're also maybe going to want some 1-ounce bars, Maybe you're going to want some rounds. Maybe you're going to have some big bars. And then if you think eventually you might want to take full advantage of a nice big piece of land when banks are foreclosing on all the people's stuff because they don't have access to the money, the jobs are down, we're in a Great Depression, who knows? Then that's where gold's going to play in. For big purchases, silver is going to be great for small purchases. Now, we don't just buy gold and silver to barter in the streets. We buy it because of inflation. Inflation basically means the more money they print, the less it is worth. Every time they up the money supply, there's more of it. Therefore, it's going to take you more money to buy the same amount of goods. I'll give you an example. If I'm running a little convenience store and I only have, for example, 10 loaves of bread, and I say I want $1 a loaf. If everybody in town has $1, then I would have no bread. It would instantly be bought up. If I go to $5, there's going to be less people out there that can afford that bread, but they will pay it because they need it. If I raise the price to $10, there's going to be even less people that can afford it, and so on and so on. But if all of a sudden they mass produce money and everybody has $10 because they just send everybody a free check for I don't know, whatever amount. We'll say they sent everybody a $50 check. Well, a loaf of bread for $10 really doesn't make sense. There's still only 5 loaves of bread. The amount of supplies did not change. Therefore, at $10 a loaf, it would instantly be bought up now. Then I'd have to go up to 30, 40, 50. Once I get up to 50, not everybody's got $50 for a loaf of bread. They'll be complaining that prices went up, but it doesn't change the fact that they don't have the money for it. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. We're seeing prices go up and people don't have the money to pay for all the goods they want. There's a finite amount of goods, especially when it comes to commodities. Commodities are the building blocks of everything we buy, such as gold, silver, wheat, oil, plastic, corn. These are the building blocks of everything you essentially buy. If you buy a cell phone, it has silver in it. It has copper in it. It has nickel. Those are the building blocks. Those are commodities. They take those items, they work on them, they shape them, they sculpt them, and boom, now they make something, a product. And when you go to buy that product, you're going to not only pay for the commodities that went into making the product, but you're also going to pay the labor that went into building that product. And once you realize that prices of everything are going up, specifically the building blocks, people can't afford to go to work and feed themselves. Therefore, they've got to raise pay. It's a vicious cycle of stuff just keeps going up. However, if you're invested in the commodities, which are the building blocks, then essentially when the building blocks go up, you gain money. Your items go up. That's why I have silver in front of me right now. So even if items that use silver go up, stuff keeps going up, well, my silver goes up. And if nothing happens and the prices just come down, that's okay. I'm still going to have my job. I'm still going to have income. I'll be all right. But there's 2 different ways. You have to understand that first. Both scenarios could happen, but one is almost a guarantee because we're already seeing it play out. Inflation. Now, once you're dealing with that, now the question comes up, well, what is the best way to actually get into being able to trade with people in a SHTF scenario? Since that seemed like his comment, he's stacking silver for that reason. And that's usually what scares people the most, is how is this going to get me the items that I need? Well, here's the thing. I've explained to you that I have a storage unit with plenty of resources in it. A lot of rice stacked away that I would probably end up trading. I would. If someone comes to me, and I know someone out there is going to be like, oh, why don't they just pull out their pew-pew and take it from you? Well, let me put it this way. I'm not going to be the only one there, and you can bet people that have resources have already planned on that. Because I'll be honest, the people that are into that type of stuff, prepping, are prepared and well-equipped. They're usually not some fly-by-night. If they've really taken the time to plan for what's coming, they're prepared, and it's not going to be that easy. And my strategy involves everything from a group of people that I can trust and count on and that are prepared just like me. And therefore, I'm hoping I'll be all right, but anything could happen. But here's the thing. These people are going to want something in return. They're going to want something like silver, gold, maybe alcohol if they didn't put away enough. Maybe they're just going to be spending their end of the days in that Shtf drinking alcohol all day. It's a possibility. Who knows what people are going to be doing? And they're going to want to fuel their vices or their bad habits. And therefore, there will have to be a means of trade. Because if I've got a garden in the backyard and I've got tons of tomatoes, I can't just hoard all those tomatoes and keep them forever because they'll go bad. Someone could make the argument you can can them and they'll keep for a long time. Okay, you can if you've got the canning stuff. I have all that stuff, but the truth of the matter is that's not going to be all people are doing. They're going to produce an item and they're going to trade an item. If I go shoot a deer, and now I have more deer meat than I can use in the time being. Or I catch some fish. I catch a bunch of fish. What am I going to do? You're not going to have a freezer that you can just go and just throw it in the freezer. Hopefully you've got some salt put away in your storage or wherever you keep your supplies. Salt is a cheap investment. For like $15, you can get a 50-pound bag of it. It's dirt cheap. And it's great for preservation. In fact, in the Roman days, salt actually would preserve your food. You would work all day for a little bit of salt. People needed salt. It was a key item in every day. However, if I've just shot that deer, I can't use all the meat. What am I going to do with it? Well, I'm going to want to get rid of it to other people. And I'm going to want to get something for it. So I might give you half a deer today for some silver. And I will take that silver tomorrow and trade it to someone else that might have a bunch of fish or a garden full of fruits and produce. This is going to basically get you by. It is a form of money. It is silver. It is money. The paper that we use today can be mass produced. One of the definitions and key things about money is it has to preserve your purchasing power. Do you think the fiat currencies that we use today are preserving our purchasing power? If this stuff was doing that, then prices wouldn't be going up. No, it wouldn't. If we were still on a gold and silver standard, this preserves purchasing power. Why? Because there's only so much of this out there. In fact, technically, prices should be coming down over the years. Why? Because it ain't as difficult to grow corn as it was in the old days. We ain't picking cotton by hand anymore. We're using basically man labor. We have machines, which means all that stuff should be getting cheaper because it's getting easier to produce. But it's just the opposite. Why? Because by printing money and making us use this trash, they basically get a commission every time we use it. I'll give you another example. Let's hypothetically say for a minute you go to the restaurant and you know the guy that owns it. And you go up to him and you say, hey, I just got this really cool coin and check this out. I'll tell you what, hook me up with a couple of lunches and you can have this coin. He's going to look at it and say, okay, so what's it worth? Well, it's technically worth $30, we'll say. I mean, I don't know the exact price of it right now because I don't know the exact spot. It's a weekend. I think spot's $28.50. That's $1.50 premium. We'll say $30. How much are your lunches? Lunches are $15 each. That's a pretty fair trade. What happens if I go and I buy my lunch today instead using cash? They're going to hit me $15, plus they're going to hit me a 8.5 tax, which is going to make it even more, which means I essentially will lose money. Why? Because you're paying taxes on that stuff. When people barter, to the best of my knowledge, there's no tax because you didn't use money. You did not make a profit. You might have taken an item, but you did not make any money. That is a key. They are able to steal your wealth by printing money and then taxing every time you use it. They're mass producing the currency. And that's not dollars, that's everything. Whether it's US dollars, Canadian loons, Mexican pesos, it doesn't matter. Some might say, well, why does my money say that it's going up in value? Well, the US dollar is claiming it's going up in value right now. Why? Because they push it, they benchmark it, they compare it to other currencies of the world, other currencies that are falling faster than ours. If me and you and 10 other people jump out of a plane and y'all hit the ground before me, does it change the outcome if I fall a little bit slower? Maybe I spread my body and I make as big of a, footprint as I can. That way I'm getting more air hitting my body. That way it slows me down in the air. Does that matter as opposed to the guy that's just doing a pencil dive straight to earth? It does not matter. The outcome is going to be the same. We're all going to hit the ground. If we're all going to hit the ground, the same outcome is going to be for all the currencies of the world. They're all collapsing. Why? Because they're abusing the privilege. The U.S. just hit $35 trillion in debt just the other day. Now we're at 35.12. That's 12% more into the next trillion in that short of a time. At that rate, we are we're going to hit 36 trillion this year. And we're going to be chipping away at 37 trillion. Nothing is changing. They are mass producing the dollars. So inflation is ramping up. Stuff could collapse. If it collapses, you have silver. It's something to barter and you get to trade for the items you need. The truth of the matter is all fiat currencies are going down. You might as well start stacking now. When I started stacking, silver was $17. I ended up catching some big dips at 15, and now we're up to 32. Well, we've gotten up to 32. If you're buying it today, you're probably going to pay 31 with premiums. But it all depends where you find. Maybe you can find some good deals. Looking at gold, a similar situation. When I started buying gold, it was like 1,200. I ended up picking a bunch up at 1,000. I picked up some at 13, 14, 16, 18. When I bought in heavy at 20, a lot of people said, you're crazy. It's an all-time high. Now we're at 25 pretty much. And it's just going to keep going up. And it's going to start going up at a faster and faster percentage. Same with silver. Both metals are going up. They're building blocks. Prices of everything are going up. If you don't secure yourself now, you're going to have a hard time. Now, I'm hoping I answered the bulk of the questions that were in that comment. I know my camera cuts off. I just don't know the exact moment that it does. I'm looking at the comments right now. I'm thinking I answered everything. The probability of a SHTF scenario happening, I'm not entirely worried about SHTF because I'm protecting myself against inflation, and I also do prepping. I prep. I practice security. If you're on our Discord channel, if you're not on our Discord channel, I recommend you get it because we also have details on water purification, food preservation, precious metals, and some stuff that may not apply to you. Maybe you're a Bitcoin person, maybe you're not. There are people on there that believe Bitcoin is similar to gold and silver. I personally do not believe that, but I do gamble on cryptos. I believe it's a gamble and it's worth investing a little bit only because of tax purposes. With the $3,000 write-off every year on cryptos, if I lose $3,000, it doesn't faze me because I'm going to get a $3,000 write-off. And if I make money off my $3,000, well, great. I made a profit. I'll pay my taxes, my capital gains, and I'll take that money and move it into something that I do need, like some more precious metals. With that being said, I know I talked a little fast because I'm trying to cover as much stuff as I can for the basics. If this comment helped you out, please let me know so I can touch base on it a little bit more, talk a little bit more about some more topics like this that are really key importance. Maybe I'll go into some more food prepping. I haven't done a lot of prepping videos recently only because gold and silver is so hot right now because it's what's important. However, you should be prepping right now because this is the time of the year that food is plentiful. It's summer. When winter comes, stuff could get ugly. If more tensions escalate in different parts of the world, trade will become harder and getting the stuff you need will get even harder. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up the video here. I thank everybody for watching. If you have a topic that you'd like me to talk about, let me know. I'm not an expert by any means. However, I will say that I dedicate too much of my life to prepping, stacking, economics, that type of stuff. I have a plan in place for a lot of different stuff. When I was military, I made a lot of standard operating procedures and that we had to follow. They were basically procedures if something happened, how to handle it. And that is the way I do my life. I have plans in place for a lot of different stuff. Obviously, if a full nuke hits my house, there's no prepping against that. But if a nuke was to hit 100 miles from me, I have a plan for that. And some people will say that's a little excessive. It is until something happens. Everybody is a prepper. They just don't know it. If you buy car insurance, you're preparing for an accident. If you buy fire insurance, you're preparing for a fire. If you buy flood insurance, you're preparing for a flood or a hurricane. Prepping is a way of life. I just happen to prep for a lot more stuff than the average person. There's nothing wrong with that, especially when stuff happens. I will be probably a little more prepared than most. And people that have knowledge are going to be not necessarily taken out. In fact, they're probably going to be used. So even if I didn't have anything and I had the knowledge that I have, chances are someone's going to be like, what? You can get fresh water from a vine and a bucket of swamp water? Yeah. You know, you have to know survival. You have to have some sort of survival skills. It takes a little time to learn it. Watching YouTube videos, you can find a lot of great stuff as long as you're practicing what you are picking up. If you're looking into it, if you're actively working on it, learn how to do this stuff. Maybe do it when times are good. That way, if something goes wrong, it's not a big deal. You can just go in your house and get a bottle of water and then try it again. People that don't practice what they preach could run into a little bit of trouble later. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys again. I know it was a long video, 26 minutes. I'm trying to cover this comment as best as I can to put out the most information. If you enjoyed the video or you have a question that you'd like answered, go ahead and leave a comment below. And I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Sorry I talked a little fast. I was trying to get a lot of info in a short video. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll get some really cool shorts up again tonight. And for those of you that don't know, shorts are just 15-second to 1-minute tips and tricks videos that will help you out if you need something. And it helps out the views because everybody spends a lot of time watching 1-minute videos because 26-minute videos are really hard to keep your attention span going that long and really take it all in. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Hit that thumbs up.